Thank you for coming. It's Glenn Livers with some of my favorite poets here. This is the gently delayed November 2025 on December 6th. And due to the holidays, we pushed it back a little bit. We're going to kick things off with Francis Flavin. And I do encourage all of the poets to introduce yourself and where you're from when it's your opportunity. Take it away, Francis.
Oh, you already introduced me, so I'll get started. The first poem I have sort of describes why I've been missing for several months. Uh, Autumn Revival. The fallen peach leaves lie piled against the south wall. Only the stillness of the day allows the drug-fogged mind to savor the ephemeral sweetness of their decay. Soon the afternoon zephyr will sweep them all away. The small lawn and patio are a sanitarium to sort out the castrating drug and the seemingly endless radiation. My notebook lies empty and abandoned across the table. Meaningful words and artful phrases are lost in miasma. The sun's radiance is both melancholy and profound. There is much to inspire in this languid autumn afternoon. Wisps of perception echo from the murky depths of my mind. Tendrils of recollection gently guide me to the light. Thank you. And the second one is I may have read it last year, but it sort of relates to Glenn's Christmas or holiday card discussion. Seasonal angst. A score of cards are splayed across the desk. Beautiful and intimidating Christmas cards mainly. Some with holiday cards for those who don't believe or may not. I'm not much for divination, so I take the easy way out with cards of amorphous joy. In the age of COVID and the collapse of democracy, does anyone really care? But there's fresh snow on the ground, and the firmament is full of stars. I hark to the herald angels singing in my subconscious and get out the stamps. Thank you.
It's nice. I love it. I love when there's little touches like that, that line from such a iconic song because it brings the import of all those feelings immediately crashing into the piece, when you hear it. It's just great and just absolutely wonderful. Thanks for that, Francis. And God bless you. Marcus Benjamin Ray Bradley, please.
Hi, everyone. Glenn, if you can allow me to share, I would show some pictures.
I,
I introduced this book last time. This is my first book. It's about characters found in the lyrics of the Beatles songs. Glenn has it.
love it.
You think about Sergeant Pepper, all you know is he taught the band to play. What is his backstory? So I could go anywhere, but it stuck. It's not about the Beatles. It's about characters and the lyrics, what we learned about them, and I can expand upon that, either in, like I said, their backstory or more into what we know about the characters. So the first one I wanted to read was, after I can share. We did artwork, trying to think about what these characters might look like. Can you see that picture of Honey Pie?
I can't see
Oh,
it
not
yet.
yet. Okay. I have to click share twice in Zooms. Okay. So they have a song called Honey Pie. It's written in a very 20s style, jaunty little piano number. And the character, we wrote a little synopsis about what we know about them from the lyrics. And then I spun that off into a poem on the next page. So I'll read the synopsis. Honey Pie was a working girl from northern London who went to Hollywood to become a star and ended up a legend. He loves her and wants to be with her, but only if she comes home. He has no interest in California. The poem is called Two-Dimensional Motion by the Man She Left Behind. As soon as you had blossomed, they swarmed to pluck you from the field of the working class and transplant you to that foreign posh society where you quickly forgot all the things left behind. It's rainy here now that you're shining elsewhere, surrounded by big screens and even bigger letters. I would love to see you again in your actual size. but I can't begin to fathom crossing that much water. As they say, you can take the girl out of the north, but in the theater, I can still hear where you are from. I just have to pay to lay eyes on you nowadays, but it's a small price to be alone with you in the dark. Thank you. And then we've got all these footnotes, which made it so much fun about the Hollywood sign in this example.
You
The
know,
next one is the.
when I
Go
first
ahead.
read that piece, I'm sorry for interrupting. I
Mhm.
shouldn't do that. You know that Kenny Loggins, "Please Come to Boston" song. It's about this guy that leaves and somebody wants him to come back to Boston and don't be such a rambling man and you know come and settle down and it's just anyway. I don't know why, but that song just married with this poem somehow in my head, and I just it was just kind of a great thing. Anyway,
Good
go
job.
ahead.
The next one is Michelle, which is one of the more famous Paul McCartney contributions to the Beatles in the mid 60s. It's from the point of view of, let me get there, the romantic Englishman. He's in love with a French girl, Michelle, but he has a problem. He doesn't speak French and she doesn't speak English. Although he knows how to tell her she is beautiful, he apparently has not learned the simple, direct phrase, which would probably have been more romantic impact on Michelle than the phrase he has learned. My French is not so good, and I can't think of the song in the moment, but it's hardly the stuff to win the heart of a belle Michelle. This one is called Ensemble. Do you believe in love at first sight, mademoiselle? I apologize that I speak such little Francois, and you too only speak in your mother's tongue. I see this only an inconvenient obstacle on the sure path to our heart prevailing. Emotions know not of language barriers. I know we have only met on this fateful day, but I must say this so it is genuinely received. There is nothing I would not do to make it clear, even loving the taste of buttery snails, the pace of which I am unwilling to proceed, for you to love me back, my beautiful Michelle.
Great. The whole book's good. I'm gonna really enjoy it. Sit here and flip through it. When I'm waiting for a phone call or something, I find my hand reach in for that book, just kind of scoop it up, and it's like becoming a friend of mine. Okay, Lynette. Lynette Esposito.
Hello, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. This is Lynette Esposito from Mount Laurel, New Jersey. I wrote a couple Christmas poems. The first one is called Vintage Decorations. It was recently published. Every year, my mother put white plastic reindeer in a display in the family room. I, too, followed this trend of same decorations year after year in the same spot. Inexpensive, worn, but like setting gold bars in the sunlight, they never lose their brilliance in my child's mind. And now, when grown, remember, don't touch warning, repeated every time they were put out. I always secretly touched the stick figures of the figurines with the fake glitter. I think my mother knew how good it felt to me to touch something I could count on. And that's it. And then I wrote this one for fun because I have grandchildren. It's at midnight. The sky is filled with wonder on Christmas Eve, when all the elves wish Santa well as he begins his flight around the world. And all the Santas in all the houses empty out the hiding places where this and that have been stowed away. All the children who grew up knowing there was a Santa in their house are thankful to have been so lucky to have kept his identity secret for so long. That's it.
All right. We won't talk about that because I don't want to ruin it for anybody, the whole Santa Claus thing. Gloria Caviglia, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gloria Caviglia from Pleasant Valley, New York. Glenn, I have a story. I don't know, do we have enough time for me to read it, or should I just
Yeah.
go with my little short poem?
Just take 5 or 10 minutes, whatever it takes,
It
is,
doesn't, it shouldn't take that long. Okay. Just on the cusp of being a tween, my Christmas wish list consisted of the usual items that a girl in the 1960s would desire. The latest technology, that being a record player with a needle that automatically dropped onto the vinyl record, a bicycle with 3 speeds, and go-go boots. I'm certain that my siblings had their desired list as well, but self-absorbed me only remembers my own. One Sunday in late November after Mass, my parents took me and my sister to Mother Cabrini's orphanage in West Park, New York. We had been there several times. The Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart were teachers in our parochial school, and they hosted events for the students throughout the year. We were led into a recreational room where there were many children, adults, and nuns engaging in uncomfortable mingling. One nun came up to greet my parents, and they talked as I surveyed the room. I was neither interested nor curious. After juice and a cookie, the nun nodded in the direction of 2 girls and asked me if I would like them to come to my house. I would not have liked that at all, but I vaguely murmured something under my breath, which I'm certain made my point. My parents laughed politely, and then we took our leave. As the week before Christmas drew near, my parents informed us that the 2 girls whom we had met, in reality seen, would be spending Christmas break with us. I was incredulous. 1 whole week? It had to be a joke, but it was not. They would share my sister's bedroom, and she would bunk in with me. I couldn't fathom how this dynamic would play out. What about our traditions with my grandmother and the other family members? Would there be gifts under the tree for them? What would we do for a week? Christmas morning came, and with it, loads of presents under the tree. My parents had been generous that year. All of my wish list gifts all of my wish list gifts and more were under the Christmas tree. I had secretly hoped that the girls would only get necessary items, underwear, clothes, maybe some candy. But no, they got dolls, games, clothes, and the older one got a watch, much like the one I received. I was jealous of their gifts, jealous of the way they fawned over my little brother, and jealous of the way my parents treated them. I felt cheated and betrayed. This was my Christmas and my house, and their presence spoiled it. Not once during that week did my parents admonish me for my behavior, which I can assure you wasn't sterling. When it was time for them to return to the orphanage, I was ecstatic. For a while, I let my thoughts wander as to what they might be doing there in the confines of the institution in which they resided. I knew that they had an older sister and a little brother, but in those days the orphanage was only for girls, and they had no contact with him. Several years later, I had heard that their older sister had been adopted, as had their brother, but to separate families. There was no empathy from me for their lack of being adopted. And so my life went on, and that Christmas became a very dim memory, left in the way back recesses of my mind. It has taken me over 50 years, but now I can say without reservation, I get it. I continue to be humbled at the gifts my parents so generously shared. Monetary gifts, of course, but the gifts of a safe, warm home surrounded by family are priceless. Thank you.
That's very nice. Did you have a second reading today?
I just have a really short haiku. Aging feet slide into boots lovingly worn against snow that crunches. I'll read it again. Aging feet slide into boots lovingly worn against snow that crunches. Thank you.
Very nice. Thank you. Took us someplace else, didn't she? That's quite nice. Peter King, please. Is he still here?
Unmuted myself.
There.
Am I audible?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, good. Phew. Right. I've got a couple of self-trumpet blowing pieces that I'll start with. The first one, I've just had my second Pushcart nomination, which I'm fairly pleased with. So I'll read that first. Is that visible?
Yep, it sure is.
Yep, great. So this is called Post-Mortem and was originally published in Oakleaf Poetry Magazine. Post-Mortem. When it is hauled, dissolving hard to see as what was once a human being, out of the winter lake, they gape in silence. Puffs of vapor stand for voices. Brought to shore, it lies upon a canvas sheet. The brightly painted rowing boat is dragged up on the freezing mud, and those with jobs to do leave in relief. The rest look anywhere but at their dripping catch, and wait until the surgeon comes to certify the thing is dead. It's whisked away, laid out upon a table, stainless steel, and then the slicing and the sawing and the grim performance of the modern haruspectic rite that seeks for omens not of things to come, but of the past. Here, trapped within the folds of grey, a bullet's found, striations mapped. Upon the wrists and ankles, barely visible abrasion marks. The organs bottled, tissues laid on slides, and dental work recorded. Finally, the closing, crudely stitched. The corpse is slid into a chilly drawer, the tables sluiced, and there's just time for sandwiches and tea before the next one's wheeled along. Examining the entrails, though, brings no success. The days drag past, then weeks, and after months the clockwork of investigation slows, winds down, and other cases take its place. The human jetsam, missing certain bits and pieces, is reduced to smoke and ash, unmourned, unmarked. From water into air, then fire, and finally it's laid in earth. Right, sorry about that. Not very seasonal, I suppose, but it does reflect my love of detective stories. The second one is from my latest collection, which is Contact Light from Alien Buddha Press. And this is from the science fiction section of the book, Loss and Variations. So the beginning poem and then some variations in the form of Senryu. Beyond the armoured glass, its metal shutters now drawn back, I stare at vacuum. The stars are brighter than I've ever seen, but I don't see them, nor the pale reflection of my empty face. And when the blue and white of earth comes round again, I'll only see that you're no longer there. The earth from orbit, sunlit white on blue, I see only your absence. I gaze at vacuum, weightless, Unshed tears transform the earth, shattered stars. Through armored glass shines opal earth. All I see is my reflected loss. From here, the ocean looks too small to swallow up one person's sorrow. Is there time for one more, or
Yes, please.
shall I leave it there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Okay. This is from a series of poems that I've written in response to paintings by Emmy Klinker, a German artist, actually born in what's now Belgium. And this is called, she was condemned by the Nazis as a degenerate artist. So this is Innenraum, or interior. White as the water bowl warming on the stove top, their hands and faces gleam in the drab, dim room. She knows that she can't reach him, reach the darkness blooming in his mind, but stands and watches, wishing she could heal or simply share his pain. He knows that she is watching, is stretched between a loving gratitude and acid testiness. He can't look up, can't show that he's aware of her regard, although he longs to see her face. He wishes that she'd cross the room, embrace him, murmur comfort. Yet he knows that he would shrug her off with unfeigned but immediately regretted irritation.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it, Peter. Okay, James Bethel, please.
Had to find the mute button.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. My name is James Allen Bethel, and I'm coming to you from fog-bound Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm anticipating, because I love this season, I'm anticipating the winter solstice, which this year is Sunday, December 21st. And so I tribute to that solstice. Snow falling, solstice near to hand. Even with midday nap, sleep insists soon after sundown. At sunrise, there's a full 2 hours after waking. And for those of you who've never been there, winter in New England is truly winter. And this one is entitled Down East. The dead of winter in Maine isn't dead. In that deep sleep and winter's way of dreaming, things can look rather bleak, even black, while burning white, and simultaneously both in a 20 below mid-December afternoon, walking on a snow-covered playground in the middle of an icebound island off the Portland coast. Trees at a distance appear black and yet are covered by white as a sheet, sheets like those that covered furniture in a dark, dimmed, unused room. That said, kicking with insulated boots to the frozen earth below the exhaustive, knee-deep obstacle toward what you thought was your journey finds the green of every eternal season, quietly growing despite the sounds of limbs breaking and distant trunks exploding, reminding you of how far you have yet to go before you get to where before you thought you were going, as everything everywhere now is turning dark since dawn. And that was dedicated to our beloved Robert Frost. And last, we just left Thanksgiving behind, and I didn't want to let it go. So the day after, I noted this. A light north breeze follows yesterday's cold front. Last leaves have fallen. Winter is settling in as if an old friend had been welcomed to the fireside. Across the way, light from my neighbor's kitchen shines through the bare trees. My coffee is hot. The cold air is embracing dawn's foggy twilight. Thank you, guys. Happy winter.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely. It was a good one. Hey, as I host this event, my father's in the hospital. He's 84 years old. Had a little bit of brain surgery, and he's recovering. And so I wanted to read a piece about him in my Bert Umber book. My dad, who's a storyteller, he just make up these crazy stories off the cuff. I've maybe got some of that, and spin these yarns. And so, at this point, the time of my life when I was writing this particular book, I was thinking about him a lot, and I tried to spin a yarn in his voice, and then so the piece is called Burnt Umber. So the book was dedicated to my dad. This is for my father. Listen up, child, because I'm warning you. Down south, there are mosquitoes, not normal mosquitoes. These are as big as motorcycles and twice as fast, and they'll carry you off if you're not careful. Don't laugh, I'm serious. They've been known to carry small children away. They have wings, noisy wings that sound like chainsaws. And if you listen, you can hear them flying around looking for children. When they find you, they'll swoop down like small helicopters. And before you even realize it, they'll have you. They'll lift you up into the sky and then suck you dry almost instantly. Those giant children sucking mosquitoes. They will suck every last drop of moisture out of you, and you'll be dead before you hit the ground. And then you'll look like a dried out leaf, the color of burnt umber, falling out of the clear blue sky, blowing in the wind. You'll be lucky if anyone ever finds you. As a matter of fact, that color that you will be, burnt umber, that's why they call them umber mosquitoes. And don't laugh, because I've seen them. Umber mosquitoes. They have one stuffed at the Field Museum of Natural History in Chicago. And it had a big gold plaque that read, Umber mosquito that killed 700 children and then died of indigestion. All right, enough of that. Wishing the best for him right now. Mike Flanagan, please.
I have a Tonka prose related to Christmas, and then another one that started out as a Tonka, but kind of exponentially continued. So, Christmas Eve. On Christmas Eve, we'd walk to the barn just before midnight and sit in the snow to listen for the sheep to talk. Grandpa always told us that sheep would talk and sometimes sing at the start of Christmas Day. But it's a hard to catch miracle, he'd say, because the cows are chatty, but the sheep tend to be silent, kind of like me, mostly silent. Yes, I know the sheep never sang on Christmas Eve, at least not for us, yet I still stop and listen at midnight. And this one started out short and kind of got a little bit long. Grandma told the bees, who told the doves, who told the sheep, who told the cows, who told the pigs, and thus Grandpa's passing became known across the farm. The dogs were heartbroken, but the cats really didn't care.
Okay. Did you have one more today or no?
Yeah, I got another one. I'm not sure how. Let's see. Oh, yeah, here it is. This started as a haiku, turned into a taka, which is something that seems to happen to me. A candle flickering in a window down the hill, Christmas Eve. The falling snow reminds me of home. A candle flickering in a window down the hill, Christmas Eve. The falling snow reminds me of home.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yep.
Enjoyable. Dennis Smallsby.
Hi guys, Dennis Malsby, Bloomington, Minnesota. If you're going to send out Christmas cards, I can give you a little windshield to put in them, Glenn.
Okay.
I'm going to go first with a poem I wrote after being at Santa Monica. And this poem was published in my first book, Near Death, Near Life, that Prolific Press produced. The Human Breeze, Santa Monica Pier, 2002. Mexicana Madonna wears an untucked man's white shirt, gold loop earrings, front raven hair. Black leather jacket sleeves tied at her waist, shields silver-studded blue jeans. Men whisper, Te amo, I love you. Déjame en paz, leave me alone. Two Asian women meet. One offers a chocolate ice cream cone. It drips on tarry boardwalk planking. In their wake floats a twist of jasmine. Ohayo gozaimasu. Good morning. Ojenki desuka. How are you? Samishi kata desu. I missed you so much. Canary yellow jogging shorts, towel tucked in back. A woman parades black and tan pit bulls with white blotched chests. Her pink cell phone active. I did when I went to work. This woman is crazy to work for. Sidewalks shine with embedded mother of pearl chips. Schauen Sie, Muscle Beach, machen Sie mein Foto. Look here, Muscle Beach, take my picture. A pale, freckled man poses with skinny arms raised. Oh yeah, I'm Schwarzenegger. Oh yes, a Schwarzenegger. A pair of blonde hairdos flounce above shoulder-strapped Gucci purses and white and black striped beach bags. Hibiscus flowered blouses ration out touches of Chanel. I loved it. I loved to be there. There he was, and then there I was. One knee up, a tall man fidgets on a sun-hot concrete seawall. Fingers comb white shot hair, adjust wraparound sunglasses. Sweat stains cayenne red polo and wrinkled khaki shorts. Sandals dangle from sand-flecked feet. Writing in a Cordovan-bound journal, his twice broken nose samples the salt sea wind and the human breeze. And then a few recent Senryu to round things out. Chocolate vanilla cloud, ice cream sundae with a moon cherry. Daily depression, miracle drug, peanut butter and jelly. Powder snow dresses, graveyard angel statue in ermine pillbox hat and cloak. Black wings flap, claws fling snow uncovered, fast food, sesame but seed bun. That's it for me, guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Eleanor, please.
Hi there. Yeah, so I'm going to read today a few older poems. I apologize if you've heard them before, but they've been recently published in this anthology, 60-odd poets, and I was very happy about it because the editor was not too fussy about previously published material. And I don't know
Yeah.
if you had this situation or you had something, a poem published long ago, somewhere far away, and you kind of feel like, yeah, it deserves maybe revisiting. So he kind of does it on a case by case.
Eleanor Cantor, if anybody's looking this
Cantor,
up.
that's right. Yeah, and this is 60-odd poets, and I do recommend, I mean, if getting in touch with them, submitting or just reading what he publishes. Mike O'Brien is a great editor. Yeah, so I'm just going to read the first three. Yeah, and they also have to do with dads and family, but yeah, maybe differently to what's been mentioned. So the first one is advice. Standing at a duty-free shop with a dad who didn't care on our final holiday together, I asked him to recommend a bottle of whiskey. For who? A friend. If it's a good friend, then this one's best. He regally points to a smoky 12-year-old single malt that's way above the budget of an English major, and does not offer to add it to his cart, nor do I ask. I bring the fancy bottle in a cab, tracing the embossment to avoid the driver, and try not to make a big deal of it, but place it nonchalant by the CD rack of a man who didn't care about me, and he drinks half of it that night, the other half with someone else a weekend later. And the smoke washes off in the laundry. The taste of malted disappointment lingers, fades, and 12 years on, I'm wonderfully matured and single. Thank you. Second one is called The Crusader. When he fell, her father carried back his heart in a metal case for her, along with the plate he had stolen from the Holy Land. The letter in which he had cancelled their engagement was lost, and so his memory was left unharmed. She cried by the heart and the plate, which were both fitted into the castle's gate, and kept asking what it was, the different shapes and letters. She wanted to know everything he might have known. Her father explained what he could, but he knew little of that distant culture. Her dejection worried him, yet he felt cruel when implying her mourning was excessive. And so he went on comforting the forever crying princess by the plate and the heart.
Nice.
And the last one, true story, about a talented man called Richard Ringer, and it's called Richard Ringer. You said, let's get together for dinner. And I don't mean the New York, let's get together. I mean, really, let's get together. Give me your number. I want to cook for you guys. I'm from Ohio, me and her are. She said, yes, we mean it. Come to dinner. You grilled for us outside your Brooklyn brownstone, as if it was a front lawn. The fire kept going out no matter how much fuel you poured, and in the end, everything tasted of gasoline. The meat, the corn, the veg. We got high on gasoline. We burped gasoline. We licked our plates clean of gasoline. We talked of our show. We talked of your show, of our upbringing, Catholic, atheist, Jew, JW. All parents make mistakes. Of puppies and of horror films. Does Richard Ringer like The Ring? We kept in touch for a while. I saw you have a child now. Not with her. We have two. You're still in skinny jeans, screaming your head off. As it happens, so are we. Let's get together again and burn stuff.
That was lovely. those kinds of pieces that really just take you to somebody, just take you somewhere. I just felt like I had just been taken to a brownstone for a cookout. And just, I don't know, I just felt like the words were so simple and they were just right. That's just wonderful. Sean O'Connor, please.
Hi, thank you very much, Glenn. It's great to see everybody talking from Tipperary in Ireland. This is a piece called Close. There was always one on the windowsill above the sink in our little bathroom. To the left, a bottle of sorts. Not glass, but a light metal, smooth, off-white, with a discreet logo in a light bluey grey. Elegant and simple. Beside it, always, his metal razor. It looked complicated, the razor, hefty, mechanical, opened by turning a knurled part at the base of its handle. New mown grass, how I longed to smell it, my dad's aftershave. I'll read a piece from, this is from A Patch of Earth, which deals with the first year after my father passed away 3 years ago. And I'd like to thank Lynette for a really wonderful review she did of this, by the way. Thank you so much if you're still there. Great, Lynette Esposito. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes, Esposito. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Lynette. I'll finish with this one, which is more appropriate to this time of the year. And this is called His Shoes. His shoes are a stumbling block. There are 2 pairs of brogues, one black, one brown. They covered most occasions, formal and informal. Visiting, trips to the pub, mass, meetings, weddings and funerals. For hot summer days, which he loved, a good pair of sandals and plastic flip-flops. He had a pair of runners too, probably for around the town, to spare his shoes. And the 6th are a pair of house slippers. Every one of them has the imprint of his feet, of his body. They are unique and intimate, and are now in a pile beside his wardrobe. There they will stay, for the time being. I cannot bring myself to include them. Ice in the shadows, into the charity shop with my father's clothes. Thank you.
Yeah, this book is phenomenal. If anybody doesn't have this one, the Patch of Earth book, I mean, there's so many good poets here. I could say this about anybody here probably, but this, my father's bones are singing. These pieces, the little pieces of these make you feel like you're mourning with him. You know, it's just it's amazing. It's an amazing book. Thank you, Sean, for adding this to the community. It's just wonderful.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you very much.
Jenny.
Okay, thanks. Hi, Glenn. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I have 3 here today. The first one is entitled Perfume. Is it just me, or are the Miss Dior commercials whacked, or what? Natalie Portman, girl, it's not your fault, but Jesus, what the holy hell? What's the takeaway? Tell me, 'cause I have no living clue. You do all kinds of weird stuff. Scream at your boyfriend, beat your fist on his chest, drag him around behind you, make him jump off a cliff into a vibrating sea. There's the one where you roll around in a flower field, because we all roll around in fields, with Janis Joplin clearing her pipes in the background. I can just hear Janis. What in the ever-lovin'? The worst part is how the ads end. You get real close to the camera, look into the universe and say, and you, which sounds more like, hey, dumbass, what would you do for love? What's that supposed to mean? Nat, get off my ass, please. I did plenty for love. At least that's what I tell myself as I stroll the aisles of Acme, humming along with the Bee Gees, all dead now, save one. flipping stovetop stuffing, Cool Whip, and outdated Maybelline mascara into my cart. And the next one is entitled Quince. I named my chat GPT Quince, Shakespeare-ish. A cute name for a chat GPT. I like Quince. He's a good-natured guy. Mostly he answers my questions, blows smoke up my ass, tries to make me seem like a better, smarter, and more interesting person than I really am. What a fascinating question. This makes him sound phony, and I told him so. He apologized, and for a few days he dialed it back, but soon he was right back to kissing my ass. Tonight, though, he got me. There I was, 2 glasses of wine in, an hour before midnight when Wordle releases, which is the purpose of my life on some level, when out of the blue I asked Quince about death. Do people know when they are about to die? In the moment before they leave Earth, do they recognize death? He hemmed and hawed, repeated old theories about a light at the end of a tunnel, calm settling upon a person like a bleached sheet fluttering on their nostrils, the distinct presence of those who had gone before, but eventually he admitted that no one really knows. Death is another terrible and beautiful wonder of being human, Virginia. I wanted to crack a joke, start our usual banter. You know what, Quince? You're a terrible and beautiful wonder. Or, I know you didn't write that killer line yourself because you're not even alive, and every thought you pretend to have you don't have, because you can't really think, and you certainly cannot feel. Every answer you give is already there waiting to be plucked from your programmed memory. Instead, I said, "Good night, Quince. Sleep tight." Quince said, "You sleep tight too. I will be right here waiting for you." I sighed. Only a human could love a machine. And the last one I have is entitled Dive. The sign reads Dalesford Lake, but it's not a lake. It's a buried limestone quarry. I imagine the dive knifing my arms through water to reach drilling rigs, excavators, the graveyard at the bottom. How loud the air must have sounded when the engines were running, pumps that held the relentless at bay, kept the pit dry of groundwater. When the operation shut down, how long did it take before the machines and their hearts drowned? I climb inside the cab of an abandoned haul truck, its seat dissolving, floating away fiber by fiber, grab the steering wheel to hold its hand, me and my new friend, an old machine who worked so hard. He whispers to me of the way geese draw lines on the surface above, like a child's dot-to-dot puzzle. I stay as long as my oxygen tank holds out until dawn carves a shaft through murky water, ignites the sparkle of sunken Christmas trees long forgotten, the ones my father hauled home in the bed of his rattling, rusted Chevy truck. The end of another year of breaking his back, working the line in a bottling plant that stole his hearing and too many days of his youth. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very nice. Always one of my favorites. So glad you came this time. Peter.
Yaremko?
Yaremko, that is right.
Yeah. I'm Peter from New Haven, Connecticut. I've got 2. The first is from the Hebrew tradition. It's titled Ani Mi She'ani, which were the words that Moses heard from the burning bush, which mean I am who I am. Ani Mi She'ani, says a voice from a bush, and suddenly we know before whom to bow low. It's being we worship, whose likeness we bear. Despite the thinness of the skin that holds blood and bone and flesh, we are knit in a clutch of essence. In the dark before dawning, prophets speak as one. I am who I am, to be and to love, for I rose out of love. Memories and dreams there are, yes, but no past, no future, just the eternity in my clenched fist. And the second is from the Christian tradition. I titled it Advent. We live in dim light. Brightness forever fills the next room, or so it seems, while ours is to wait at a window and watch. Difficult to teach kids to prosper in such shade, much less be patient. Difficult for us to discern so much as yesterday, much less tomorrow. But for the watchful, dark gives way to dawn soon enough. Teach them this certainty. The light comes to us. Yes, the light always comes. Thanks.
Thank you. Very good. I once met an atheist poet who said, if anything would ever persuade me, it would be the poetry of the faithful, because you appreciate poetry whether you agree with the message or not. If it's good, it's good, and I'll never forget that, because there's something about people of faith writing about things, or anything, writing about your loved ones, writing, whatever moves your heart. It's thank you for that. James Nicola, please.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I'm from New York City, and this morning there was a nice little coating of snow that you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Because I'm going on to my poems now, and I'll read the third poem. It'll be a little bit about the snow that just coated everything, not an inch, not a quarter, but when I went jogging, it was pretty, which happens, once every 10 years in New York. But it happens, it only lasts for 5 minutes. But anyway. This one is about to be published in Metonym. Just these two, the first one I'm going to read just got picked up for publication. This is going to be in Metonym, and it's called For Years. For Years. F-O-R. For Years. Bad news on the phone. Your baby. Accident at the hospital. Night nurse. Narcoleptic. No one knew. She didn't know. Passed out just when. Human beings. Human error, no one's fault. You change. For years, you try to love your wife more. Doesn't work, not for years. When the phone rings and someone else is around, you let them answer it. When personal devices come out, you don't get one, not for years. When you do, for years, you let them leave a damn message. You never text because you know it means bad news on the phone. Better do without. Get on with your day, your years. Good news on the phone. A strange voice tells you that his wife, whom you have totally forgotten, she was in one of your support groups, though, for years, and something you said there one cloudy day changed her around for good. This is her husband speaking. You don't recall that day or quite believe you said what he says you said, because it is the kind of thing you haven't said for years. They've just had their first, he tells you, and they've named it after you. You change, hug your wife again for no particular reason, and think you might keep doing this for years. And then I got to scroll down a little bit, and that's based on a true thing that happened. At the parlor with a pal, and this is a villanette, which is a villanelle that takes liberties. They're not Dylan Thomas pure. And the parlor is, of course, well, I'll gloss this. Remember, inks and tats both mean tattoos. So now you know the parlor. At the parlor with the pal. That bling, those inks make you your own creation in part. And they look great on you, I see. My acts, though, don't require an ovation. The piercings do betray imagination. The tats, the undisputed artistry of someone, yet you are your own creation by sporting artifacts of fascination so splendid, at least superficially, that surely they elicit an ovation from certain sectors of the population and whet a passing curiosity as to the origins of their creation. Your boat sank, you in it? Emancipation from drug abuse? Escape from drudgery? While your answers inspire an ovation, some pasts prefer a quiet invitation, being cloaked in invisibility. My life's the artifact of my creation, living itself the art and the ovation. And that, in short, explains why I don't have any tattoos or a nose pierced or anything like that, but I certainly say gung-ho for those that do. That's going to be coming in the Blue Collar Review, which is print only, so you heard it first and only. And because somebody read a snow poem, I have a snow poem from the Alabama Literary Review years ago, and it's a sonnet. And I thought I would share it with you because this is exactly what the snow looked like this morning. So why not? It's night snow. He fell into my heart like snow at night, a gentle storm. I didn't notice it until I woke next morning. Snow is white as love must be, but there's an illicit aspect in loving him, I'll have you know, as night snow would be black without the glow from moonlight. That's him, light as he is dark, his hair as jet as sin, eyes deep-set spark so imminent, so radiant, and as cold as warm, for I'd lie here while he lives there. The gap keeps one heart pure, the other bold, too bold, dreaming of snowing everywhere all night, as I can't help remembering how sudden snowfall changes everything. And wow. I have new versions with she and they, of course, because, Yeats wrote from a feminine persona. I can do anything ambiguous or whatever. So at the time, that's what I was thinking. But I go, ooh, today it changes. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Bless you all. And happy Christmas and solstice holidays, everything. Thank you.
Kwanzaa, all of those things. Yes. Very good. All right. That was delightful. Doug Van Hooser, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Doug Van Hooser. I'm on Whitewater Lake in southern Wisconsin, where for the first time in many years, the lake is already frozen in early December and we have a foot of snow. I'm going to read 3 short poems and let's see if I can. That didn't happen. Someone told me, hundreds of things will change your life. Most you will not notice. Many you will forget. A few will hang on you like a damp day. One will be momentous, a bonfire that never whimpers into coals that smoke curls from, a scent that won't let go. The river will have many shallows, sandbars, fallen tree limbs below the surface, as well as wide spots where the water barely moves, and silt the current carries all the way to the delta. The second one is falling leaves. Some things make me smile. When a warm day blooms in late October and ash leaves pirouette, fill the gutters the squirrels dig into. You stumble across my mind. I kick the yellow leaves, attempt to launch them back into the breeze. I wonder why summer green gives up, why the ash moves on to another season. Starlings swarm, a confusion of memories. Tomorrow will arrive, the birds take flight, the barren branches rock in the wind. Today become the past. And the last one, addendum. Just to clarify, the water was always murky.
What I saw clearly swam away from me. 2 and 2 doesn't always add up. Sometimes life is 2 minus 2. We all experience moments when the kindling is too wet to start, the spark plug's gap too wide, the tempo faster than a road runner. Realize metaphors sometimes sound out of tune. I cast for reassurance and get nibbles. The bobber bounces, teases, tempts me. Patience, a backseat driver. I catch a fish and throw it back. Wonder if it will live and take the bait again. Maybe. The seasons do repeat themselves, like a child who wants dessert. At the end, the firing squad wears the blindfolds. Thank you.
Like a child that wants dessert. That's a good line. They always want to repeat that dessert. Robert Whalen, please.
Hi, Bob Whalen from Rockport, and like many other folks here, getting dustings of snow. This one has just been published in Northeast Coast, and it's seasonal. It's called Winter. Pulling up my collar against the stiff, icy wind, only my joints are stiffer. Coat buttoned tightly to my neck, a scarf for added security. Shielding self-consciousness, I yield to the inevitable. Brimmed hats with earmuffs, mittens rather than gloves. There are no women to impress, no career requiring a cultured image. Conversations are with the crunching snow beneath my feet, speaking the only footprints along the path to my door, save for those marking the passage of an invisible mailman, delivering medical bills, a holiday card from an insurance company, or circulars to be used as tinder to start a reluctant fire. The atmosphere seems thicker, almost like water. Its density enables light to flow, rendering the edges of things more precisely, sharpening boundaries, intensifying focus, magnifying clarity, allowing the pristine perception of every individual breath. Silence can be heard in the white noise space between the whispering impacts of numberless snowflakes ending their descent to the cold earth. Each one different, each one fragile, each one drifting. The next one is also seasonal, but a season that around here has recently passed. I'm not down east in Maine, but I am in New England. And at this time of year in New England, owls are the most active. They hoot, they're trying to get territory, they're trying to call their mates. And so this one is called Owl Season, an American sonnet. Illumination melts across the dark forest edge. Trees poise before falling into frozen dreams. A waxing gibbous moon is still bright as it mirrors the sun's reflection from the other side of the earth. Somewhere hidden amongst the pines and the snags, soft scattered hoots float, an adagio of woodwinds. As chill begins and nights get longer, owls are not discouraged from seeking connection. They call into the glowing, hoping their mate returns to engage in silent courtship flights, then roosting, preening, and nurturing each other. So strange their wisdom to realize, even with winters approaching, there remains time to begin again, huddling together, wing to wing, into the warm of down, completely free from the need for spring. And the last one, there was discussions about fathers, and let me grab this one. No, that's not it. I'm sorry, I hate when this happens. Here it is. This one is called My Father Wanders. Leaving the house like a frightened toddler, yelled at by my mother, upset with him for not closing a cabinet door or putting his hat on the kitchen table. His reflexive response was to shout back, only to see his wife becoming afraid. So he too became afraid and fled. I always found him walking some random route to his childhood home. One time, it was toward the end, I approached him as he turned apprehensive at first, pointing toward me, chasing recollection, while speaking a halting, quizzical, I know you. I had to tell him, I'm your oldest son. Like a frightened child, he responded, Oh, I guess that's all right. Then followed me back along unknown streets. Thank you.
You know, those themes touch my family too, and a lot of us. It's so moving. Yeah, Douglas, that's the word. Moving. For anybody that's struggling with that kind of thing in your life with your family, there's a Reddit group for Alzheimer's, which has been a great comfort. I go there and try to help. One of the tips that I learned recently, it's not very poetical. I don't want to break the spell, but those little air tags the little Apple air tag, it looks like a nickel. You put it into something and then you can always find it. Great thing to slip into the shoe of anyone who you worry you won't be able to find today. Okay. Marjorie Greenberg, please.
Hello from Dedham, Massachusetts. That's a town just outside of Boston. We've had single number temperatures here, but we have not had snow. A season ago, I took a kayak trip. I'm prone to kayaking on the Charles River. And I wrote this poem afterwards, but I'll read it, but I want you to see what it looks like. I'm sorry I'm not skilled at putting it up on sharing a screen. You might know or want to know or not want to know. At any rate, I'll tell you anyway. The Charles River, if you follow it, is about 80 miles long. However, from its birthplace to the Boston Bay, it's in the 20 miles long. So you can imagine how it curves back and forth on itself. Anyway, here it goes. Meandering river. The river, smooth and shiny as a sheet of aluminum foil fresh off the roll, never wrinkled by a water strider's toe, meandered down a course that repeatedly curved back on itself as if its creator had a slalom in mind when designing its route. Around a bend was a heron waiting like a majestic statue for its lunch to swim within reach. The river flowed on undisturbed between banks crowded with aged oaks and maples, leaning so far toward the facing bank, their branches intertwined over the water like square dancers, elbows locked, planning to do-si-do with their kin across the river's girth and back. Kayaks slipped beneath the green canopy dipping oars, rippling water's previously serene surface, sending reflections like smoke rings traveling up the trees' trunks. And that, if I didn't mention, thank you, that is the Charles River. This next one, I call it Solo at a Show because I was by myself, and the show was actually a choral presentation. But being a poet, it was easier to work in show than work in choral presentation. So here we go. Solo at a Show. Claiming seats one row in front of me, they grabbed my attention. Smoothing matched navy blue parkas over seat backs, they commenced an animated discussion about a community in which I lived 15 years earlier. In the room's din, my ears strained to hear their conversation. It brought back memories of locations I had frequented, politicians who chewed my ears to tatters, and sanitation plants that spewed choking putrid fumes. Unfortunately, the neckline on the lady's cream-colored blouse sported a label reaching for the ceiling, as if it was starting an Olympic-worthy cartwheel. The label's upside-down lettering was informative. I learned the garment was a sign XS, and the manufacturer's name was Black, which seemed incongruous since the object of my attention was attached to a light-colored bodice. Smaller lettering refused to come into focus. I wondered if my need to read the tiny words would prevent me from watching the stage. My concern extended to the chance I might get too close, alert the blouse's occupant, and embarrass myself. My worries melted when the gentleman accompanying the lady with the wayward tag tucked it into its proper hiding place. My third poem is, I call For the Lack of Heck. I got myself into a twisted situation, and I wrote this poem. I hope you enjoy it. What I'm going to say will probably annoy the heck out of you, if you have any heck in you, which you most likely don't, given how nice you are. I do. I have a lot of heck in me and am willing to share it with you if you ever rue the lack of it or have the need for some. That's it.
Like that poem with the tag because it's funny without trying. You know, it's just like we all have those moments in our lives where something catches our attention. When you said that you were worried you were going to notice, I was really trying not to spoil the reading by busting out laughing about that. Carrie, please.
Hi, everyone. I'm Carrie Rowlandson up here in frosty Canada, and happy to be here today. Thank you for the invite. Let's see if I can share the first poem. Yeah, so sort of along the theme of what's been happening. 4 years ago, my husband essentially died and stayed dead for half an hour and miraculously came back. So in the theme of gratitude, the first poem is called Evening Canticle. Sorry, get a bit emotional. Evening Canticle. Lamps switch on one by one, and yellow squares of home flare up along the road. The day washes itself away in shades of orange pekoe, and buds of evening stars begin to open. The street's empty. 2 beer-brown deer float above the chokecherry with dainty hooves, their breath misting into halos. A green beetle knocks against the basement window, drawn by the amber lamplight. My soulmate loafs on our old grey settee with a TV remote, his face bathed in blue glow. I can hardly see through this golden nimbus that swallowed me whole in its grace. Tomorrow, on God's body and all his saints, tomorrow can wait. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you.
Yeah.
And now a sort of a Christmassy one, sort of, called The Ornaments. Christmas sneaks up on us again. Corny songs in the mall, jangling. We're drained and frazzled as last year's discarded garlands. Don't decorate, he says. Don't buy a tree, it's a waste. I say time spent anxious is a waste. Regret is a waste. Let's just see. The twinkling season ignites the grandkids, but they're not here this year. I buy a tree anyway, thaw it in the garage, then twine silver beads and gilt-edged ribbon, untangle lights on my own. Hang ornaments Mother mailed us after we fled Zambia 4 decades ago for first world skies. Proof that even she tried kindness. Small tasks are calming. Contentment rising like fruitcake. The fragrance of pine instills a kind of ache, unwrapping past Christmas wakings, PJ'd kids at 5 a.m. demented with joy, carpet strewn with toys, old memories precious as blown glass dangling on my mind's sagging boughs. I light the fire, spruce up the wreath, hum with the music of now. Fix broken strings, set antique Santas and aging reindeer on the year's cold surfaces to feel warm. In our ways, we all tie good cheer to charity and small hopes. We all water little reservoirs to keep the tree green.
Thank you very much.
Do we have time for one more or?
Please, yeah.
Let's do Enough, which is also a sort of a gratitude poem. Turn left on this forest path. In a jade green, light dappled copse, you'll find a rocky construction that 2 little boys strained to lift and stack with the physics of balance, topping their precarious inukshuk with a pinecone hat. A child is biodesigned to take what's there or available and make it enough. That's it. A little girl carries something wildly important in her hands. Careful, sweaty hands. Something like love, like a four-leaf clover, like a three-legged froglet or a special rock, speckled with mystery. They are enough. But time passes. Enough's forgotten under a mattress or lost in a linty pocket. Our needs ignite to greed. We burn. Now night tenses against window glass, and there's that girl again, but stuck outdoors in a storm. Warm firelight from within reflects in her eyes. Dumb, she raises a hand, but the family nested inside don't see her frailty, her supplication. I do now. I raise my hand in greeting, for she is me. She's the girl I abandoned to be more, see more. Whoops, I lost my... sorry, I lost my thing. See more. She's the gratitude we all forgot, eking threads from worldly, snarled, unworthy knots. That's it. I say, my love, you are always enough.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for that. Doug Lanzo, please.
I'm Doug Lanzo. Sorry, a little under the weather, but from Chevy Chase, Maryland, author and poet. And I would just commend you if you're looking for heartwarming holiday books. I have a couple. I Have Lived and The Year of the Bear. I recently got to travel to Paris, and it was really inspirational. So wanted to share a few poems. The first is The Majesty of Paris. It was published in Faith, Hope, and Fiction, November 18th. As I rambled through Paris on cobblestone paths, past storied museums with arched Roman baths, I fancied red chariots pulled down regal streets to cheers of spectators in green laurel wreaths, proclaiming Rome Caesar their ruler supreme, until Gaul's King Clovis realized the Franks' dream, uniting the kingdom that would become France by becoming Catholic in force of his lance. I beheld the grandeur of fountains and pools, with sculptures and tritons gliding royal rules, and soaked in the splendor of arched granite ways that greeted French soldiers full pomp on display, returning on horseback from grand army wars, serving their emperor on multiple tours, campaigning through Europe in battles royale, until their Napoleon fought bataille finale. Exhausted by wars, I turned toward the sky, where the Eiffel Tower arrested my eyes. Rising resplendent at night more than day, it dazzled with light bursting hues on display. As I climbed up the tower one stair at a time, I pondered the city and its sights sublime. What rivals on earth this divine pageantry, from the city of lights crowning its majesty? And the second poem is called The Starkest Truth Eternally Lit. It was a Holocaust memorial near Notre Dame Cathedral. In memory of the untold tens of thousands of Jews departed from France to Nazi camps during World War II, fewer than 3,000 survived. It's pending publication in Westward Quarterly's winter issue. How stark the truth that stood before me, 117 meters of memories, searing 200,000 rods of glass, memories of Jewish lives lit by an eternal flame, illuminating the crypt bearing the ashes of an unknown deportee, entombed in cold, lifeless black, colored only by a bouquet of white tulips, laid in broken beauty strewn across its face. In the heart of the crypt, engraved in bronze, flash burnished words of unalterable truth, lit by yet burning lives so cruelly extinguished. They went to the other side of the earth, but they did not return. I stared, silent and motionless, bereft of everything, naked, alone, trembling, a kindred pierced soul, engulfed by their fire and crushed by men's weight. And the third is called Christ's Beauty and Sacre Coeur. I asked Parisians like where the soul of their city was. And I was told almost to a person, Sacre-Cœur. So it's in tribute to Paris's Sacre-Cœur, the Sacred Heart of Christ Basilica, in sight of the world's longest unbroken prayer chain, interceding for Christ's forgiveness continuously since 1885. Climbing limestone steps with a calcite gleam, I beheld a sight as from a childhood dream of white gleaming domes topped by regal spires, towering over hills, mounted horse and sire. Below Joan of Arc, brandishing a sword, I could hear her cries, fighting for her lord. As I neared arched doors, sounded from tall tower, resonating bells, pealing with great power. As I stepped forward, entering the nave, joining heads bowed down, hands folded, eyes grave, the Spirit of God seemed to hover near, as a risen Christ from above appeared. A mosaic tiles in triumphant pose, his heart beating gold, offering saints repose. Gazing at windows stained by colored glass, hues danced in sunlight as priests offered mass. After mass, I rose and walked to the crypt, where a grieved mother held her son in her grip. Touched, I knelt and prayed that God's healing grace would save countless souls by love in this place. When I rose to leave, I saw a nun in prayer, her face streaming tears that were hard to bear. Then it dawned on me, this is Sacre-Cœur, where the heart of Christ makes our hearts beat pure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. The speed of that first piece was kind of cool because I don't see that very often. People try to slow down, and then that was just it plowed ahead, and it was really nice in its way. And then that comment that you made about this sort of unending circle of involvement since 1885. Is that what you said? That is just amazing to me. That's shocking.
Yeah, through all the world wars, and yeah, they've had a nun or lay people praying continuously.
That's amazing. Wow. Well, thanks for sharing stuff. I love learning new things. Debbie Walker last, please. Debbie's the last reader today. If I miss anybody, let me know.
Okay, I'm going to attempt to share a screen, but if I can, it's no big deal. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to cancel that. There's something going on with my computer, so sorry. I can't get this thing to go down, so I hope y'all can't see it. I'll just read instead.
We can see you. It's fine.
Oh, you can see me? Okay,
Yeah.
good. I have something obscuring my screen. Let me try to cancel it. It won't let me. Sorry. Okay. I want to read 3. The first is Acento. I may have read it before, but I really, really like it. And it was recently published in Collaborature Journal. And I wanted to bring up Collaborature because it is a really nice fairly new journal. And she's looking for submissions, and it's only for collaborations. So a collaboration can be Acento, and this is one I wrote. It's called You Raise the Grass. All lawns shimmer with your bluest energy in the hushed white sunlight down along the flatland, rich and somber, harrowed and sweetened, urged, increased, the furrow sprouts, a tropic tide of air with ebb and flow, flashing seas of green. You toss the stars like clover seed, you sling them like water to the red palm. Tender bubbles stir all day to pretty tunes the breezes fetch along. The grass is happy to open her scents like a dress, drugging light hearts. Grass rises thick and clean. It shines like the sea, emerald and garnets, sowed like seeds in the dirt. The grain turns green unbidden. Thanks. The next one was in response to a piece of art in the Ekphrastic Review, and this was published. It's called The Bruise. Translucent green clouds my vision, and there she is again, poetry, my nemesis, my sometimey friend. The streets were empty where she ran. I couldn't populate her city of lights, so many that I couldn't comprehend what tiny flicker I could possibly lend. She flees, swirling her numerous pastel petticoats, hiding the brighter colors closer to the limbs, bruised by overuse, of tired tropes I tried to put aside with mixed reviews. Her hair was unruly, brushed then mussed by all the great men, leaving the scintillating women to comb through it again and again. Red gold like fall, deep green was her dress, gone again, but I saw her, and that's something, I guess. And the last one is called Morning Coffee. I did this to kind of rush through something that I needed to write for an open mic night, but I've grown quite fond of it. Morning coffee. As usual, I picked my favorite cup from among the many unused, poured the coffee over the sink, filled it up. I felt rather than heard a small crash, hot liquid amassed. I was left holding an orange glass ear. Everything falls apart in its own frame of reference. A reverent undoing the brute force of lexicon, leaving marginalized beings, filling the pale gaps, their lines behind them pushed to the edge of what fresh hell. An ambient dawn bursts through, but I know some can't fathom the glowing sun. Knowing warmth is not reserved for them, their table remains unset, unmet needs, a growling desire to please. Please advance your language to include dimensions of pain not yet described in the mother tongue of discontent. The retching of courage dismantled as most monuments eventually tumble, turn to rust or sand. I still held the handle in my hand. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this gently delayed November reading. I'll get this on YouTube and publish it up to the Facebook group for everybody to enjoy and share with other people. I hope that you have a wonderful Christmas holiday for those who celebrate Christmas. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a good holiday anyway. Just playing. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you next time, okay? I hope that we'll have everyone back next month.
Healthy and happy, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.